Hello students, I hope well. Now let's discuss about the political science questions which is related to the CBSE board. So the first question which we are going to discuss is, can Japan effectively function as an alternative center of power? Support your answer with the logical explanation. So we are discussing this question, okay? Can Japan effectively function as an alternative center of power? Support your answer with the logical explanation. So, years after defeat in the Second World War, Japan emerged as a developed Asian nation despite its scarce natural resources. Today, it is the third largest economy in the world and is the only Asian member of the G7. It is the second contributor to the UN budget, contributing almost 10% of the total budget. It has a security alliance with the US since 1951. As per Article number 9 of the Japanese Constitution, to renounce war as a sovereign right of the nation and the threat or use of the force as means of settling international disputes. Although Japan's military expenditure is only 1% of its GDP, it is the seventh largest in the world. Japanese brands such as Sony, Panasonic, Suzuki, Toyota have a reputation for making high technology products. So Japan became a member of the Organization for the Economic Cooperation and Development (OECD) in 1964. It is the 11th most populous nation in the world. If it develops strategic relations with the other powerful Asian nations, Japan may become an alternative center of the power in the world. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से आप कंक्लूड करते हुए अपने आंसर को इंट्रोडक्शन विद उसका बॉडी जो जो मेन चीज़ें हैं वो बताते हो. ठीक है, उसके बाद जो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है वो ये है, असेस द रोल ऑफ द एशियन एज एन इकोनॉमिक एसोसिएशन. तो इसको कैसे आप लिखोगे? सो जैसे कि आप जानते हो, एशियन वॉज एस्टेब्लिश्ड प्राइमरली for accelerating the economic growth through the social progress and cultural development. It still remains principally an economic community, though the Asian region as a whole is a much smaller economy compared to the US, the European Union, and the Japan. However, its economy is growing much faster than all these. This accounts for the growth in its influence both in the region and beyond. The objectives of the ASEAN are to create a common market and production base with the Asian states. ASEAN as an economic community also committed to improve the existing ASEAN. ASEAN has focused on creating a free trade area. Free trade area, ठीक है. उसके बाद for investment, labor and services, and the US and China have already negotiated with the FTA with the ASEAN. The current economic strength of the ASEAN, particularly its economic relevance as a trading and investment partner to the growing Asian economies such as India and China, makes this an attractive proposition. India signed FTA with two ASEAN members, Singapore and Thailand, are trying to sign as FTA with the ASEAN itself. ASEAN's strength, however, lies in its policies of interaction and consultation with the member states, with dialogue partners, and with the non-regional organizations. So this is the role of ASEAN as an economic association. ठीक है, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट जो क्वेश्चन है वो क्या है? नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, what was the approach of the government of India towards the princely states immediately after the partition of India in 1947? Describe how the princely state of Manipur acceded to the India. तो सबसे पहले तो आपको अप्रोच बतानी है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया की, कैसे जो है इसने प्रिंसली स्टेट्स को यहाँ पे ऑर्गेनाइज किया था. सो लेट्स डिस्कस अबाउट दिस क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, इसमें हम बात करेंगे at the time of India's independence, there were 565 princely states, as we know this thing. ठीक है, immediately after partition, communal violence was its culmination. In this environment, the government's approach towards the princely states was guided by the following three considerations. Firstly, the people of the most of the princely states clearly wanted to become part of the Indian Union. Secondly, the government was prepared to be flexible in giving autonomy to some regions, and the idea was to accommodate plurality and adopt a flexible approach in dealing with the demands of the regions. Thirdly, in the backdrop of partition, which brought into focus the contest over the demarcation of the territory and the integration and consolidation of the territorial boundaries of the nation, had assumed supreme importance. Now, accession of Manipur, जो special question में पूछा गया है, how Manipur acceded to the India. So let's discuss about this thing. After the independence in 1947, Maharaja of Manipur, he was Bodh Chandra Singh, signed the instrument of accession with the Indian Union on the assurance that the internal autonomy of Manipur would be maintained under the pressure of the people of Manipur. Maharaja held the election in June 1948 and state became a constitutional monarchy. Thus, Manipur was the first state to hold an election on the basis of adult franchise, and the government of India succeeded in pressurizing the Maharaja into signing a merger agreement in September 1949 without consulting the Legislative Assembly of Manipur. This led to a lot of anger and resentment in Manipur. ठीक है, this is done. उसके बाद जो next question है वो क्या है? जो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है वो ये है, द अकोमोडेशन ऑफ रीजनल डिमांड्स एंड द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ लिंग्विस्टिक स्टेट्स वर सीन एज अ मॉडर्न डेमोक्रेटिक, जस्टिफाई द स्टेटमेंट विद द सुटेबल आर्ग्यूमेंट्स. ठीक है, सुटेबल आर्ग्यूमेंट्स के साथ जो है हमें ये क्वेश्चन डिस्कस करना है. So after independence and partition, our leaders felt that carving out states on the basis of language might lead to disruption and disintegration. It was also felt that this would draw attention away from other social and economic challenges that the country faced. So formation of Andhra Pradesh spurred the struggle for making of other states on the linguistic lines in other parts of the country. These struggles faced the central government into appointing a states reorganization commission in 1953. ठीक है, to look into the question of redrawing of the boundaries of the states, and the commission in its report accepted that the boundaries of the state should reflect the boundaries of different languages. Linguistic states and the movements for the formation of these states changed the nature of democratic politics and leadership in some basic ways, and the path to politics and power was now open to the people other than the small English-speaking elite. Linguistic reorganization also gave some uniform basis to the drawing of the state boundaries. It strengthened national unity. Above all, the linguistic states underlined the acceptance of the principle of diversity. So this question is also done. Now let's discuss about the next question. A two-party system is considered as the best form for the democratic system. India, on the other hand, has a multi-party system, as has the advantages of the multi-party system in the India. ठीक है, ये डिस्कस करना है हमें. तो इसमें क्या हो जाएगा? Multi-party system is better because no place for the dictatorship. Even if a party enjoys full majority, it cannot function as dictator. The parliamentary democracy has many provisions to discourage the dictatorship, like multiple choices to the voters. Since 1989 elections, voters have choices about whom they want to cast their votes. ठीक है, उसके बाद नेक्स्ट है ट्रू रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ द पब्लिक ओपिनियन. पार्लियामेंट इज द रिफ्लेक्शन ऑफ द पीपल. इन केस ऑफ मल्टी पार्टी सिस्टम, पार्लियामेंट becomes a true reflector of the people because diversity of culture, language is noticeable in the parliament. Now next, in case no single party gets majority, then some parties may form a coalition government. Next is every aspirant gets a chance to be a member of the parliament. Next, the gap between the national and state parties reduces and mutual cooperation increases. So this is also done. उसके बाद जो next question है वो क्या है? So the next question is, in spite of serious differences between the major national political parties, emergence of new consensus is being viewed with the interest. In the light of this statement, describe any three consensus. तो किस तरीके से इसको बताओगे आप? देखो, कंसेंसस इन थ्री एरियाज. कितने एरियाज में आपको बताना है? 3 एरियाज में. ठीक है, सो नाउ लेट्स डिस्कस एक्सेप्टेंस ऑफ पॉलिटिकल एंड सोशल क्लेम्स ऑफ द बैकवर्ड कास्ट्स. सबसे पहले तो इसके बेसिस पे एज अ रिजल्ट ऑल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज सपोर्टेड रिजर्वेशन फॉर द ओबीसीज इन द एजुकेशन एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट. जो नेक्स्ट है वो क्या है? जो नेक्स्ट है इसी में हम बात कर रहे हैं. यहाँ पे किस चीज़ की बात कर रहे हैं हम? हाँ जी, यही क्वेश्चन है हमारा. इन स्पाइट ऑफ सीरियस डिफरेंसेस बिटवीन द मेजर नेशनल पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज, emergence of new consensus is being viewed with interest. In the light of this statement, describe any 3 consensus. So the first consensus which we have discussed, acceptance of political and social claims of the backward castes. As a result, all political parties supported reservation for the OBCs in education and employment. उसके बाद जो नेक्स्ट है इसमें सेकंड कंसेंसस की बात करें हम, तो जो सेकंड कंसेंसस है हमारा वो है रोल ऑफ स्टेट लेवल पार्टीज. सो द रोल ऑफ द स्टेट लेवल पार्टीज इन द गवर्नेंस ऑफ द कंट्री हैज़ बीन रिकॉग्नाइज्ड एंड द गैप बिटवीन द सेंटर एंड द स्टेट लेवल पार्टीज डिक्रीज्ड. State level parties are sharing power at the central level and has been playing central role in the politics of the country for the last 2 decades. ठीक है, उसके बाद next जो है वो है focus on the pragmatic considerations. So the most of the political parties emphasis on the practical considerations rather than ideological positions, and the coalition politics has shifted political alignments from ideological differences to the power sharing agreements. And next जो है वो है new economic policies. So the most political parties came to support the new economic policies as they believed that these policies would lead the country to prosperity and a status of economic power in the world. ठीक है, तो ये 3 कंसेंसस हमने डिस्कस कर लिए हैं. उसके बाद जो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है हमारा वो क्या है. सो द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन जो है वो ये है कि ट्रेस करना है हमें. ट्रेस द इवोल्यूशन ऑफ द यूनाइटेड नेशंस सिंस इट्स establishment in 1945. how does it function with the help of its structure and agencies, वो हमें बताना है. ठीक है, so the United Nations was established in 1949 after the end of the Second World War as a successor to the League of Nations, and the यूनाइटेड नेशंस चार्टर वो साइन बाय 51 स्टेट सेटिंग अप ऑफ यूएन. कितने लोगों से साइन किया गया था? 51 नेशन स्टेट्स के द्वारा. ठीक है, द बेसिक एम वॉज टू अचीव वट लीग ऑफ नेशंस वॉज नॉट एबल टू अचीव ड्यूरिंग द फर्स्ट वर्ल्ड वॉर्स, एंड द अदर ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ यूएन आर प्रिवेंशन ऑफ द कन्फ्लिक्ट्स एंड फैसिलिटेटिंग कोऑपरेशन अमंग द नेशंस, to stop the conflicts among the states resulting into war, and if it takes the shape of the war, to limit the effects of the war, and to reduce the reasons for conflict by bringing the countries together for the improving social and economic development all over the world. And UN structure and agencies. फिर UN क्या include करता है? UN include many different structures for the dealing with the different issues, and the issues relating to the war and peace and difference between the member states are dealt by the discussion in the General Assembly as well as in the Security Council. The other issues such as social and economic are dealt by a number of agencies which include, जैसे कि हो गया WHO. ठीक है, WHO वर्ल्ड हेल्थ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, जैसे कि हो गया UNDP, ये हो गया यूनाइटेड नेशंस डेवलपमेंट प्रोग्राम. ठीक है, जैसे कि हो गया हमारा UNHRC. UNHRC क्या होता है? यूनाइटेड नेशंस ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन. जैसे कि हो गया हमारा यूनिसेफ, ये क्या हो गया? यूनिसेफ. इसका मतलब क्या हो गया? इसका मतलब हो गया यूनाइटेड नेशंस चिल्ड्रंस फंड. जैसे कि हो गया हमारा नेक्स्ट यूनेस्को. क्या है? यूनेस्को. ये यूनेस्को क्या है? यूनाइटेड नेशंस एजुकेशनल साइंटिफिक एंड कल्चरल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से ये क्वेश्चन आप लिख लोगे. उसके बाद जो नेक्स्ट है वो क्या है? जो नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन है ना हमारा वो है व्हाट स्टेप्स शुड बी टेकन टू स्ट्रेंथन द UNO, एक्सप्लेन एनी 4 रीजंस as to why India should be given a permanent membership in the UN Security Council. दिस इज़ द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. ठीक है, इसमें ये है फॉलोइंग स्टेप्स शुड बी टेकन टू स्ट्रेंथन द UNO. यूनाइटेड नेशंस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की हम बात कर रहे हैं, तो यहाँ पे UNO जो है इसको स्ट्रेंथन करने के लिए टू इंक्रीज द परमानेंट एंड नॉन परमानेंट मेंबर इन द UN सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल सो दैट इट कैन रिप्रेजेंट कंटेम्प्रेरी वर्ल्ड पॉलिटिक्स इफेक्टिव एंड बेटर इन द बेटर वे. Okay, UN's budgetary procedure and its administration should be strengthened, limiting the role of the UN to develop and humanitarian work. India should be given a permanent membership in the UN Security Council due to following reasons. अब हम reasons बताते हैं. Greater role of the UN in maintaining world peace and security. India is the most populous country which constitutes 1/5 of the population of the world. And India is also the world's largest democracy. India actively participated in UN programs and played a material role in keeping and managing the peace and cooperation, and the regular financial aid to the UN and evolution of its economy also support India's desire to be the permanent member. ठीक है, तो ये लॉन्ग क्वेश्चंस हैं जो एग्जाम में आते हैं 6 मार्क्स के. 4 क्वेश्चन आने हैं आपके एग्जाम में. ठीक है, जिनमें इंटरनल चॉइसेस भी दी होती है. इसी तरीके से सेम पैटर्न में आपके क्वेश्चंस होंगे. हर एक क्वेश्चन में जो है आपको मतलब चॉइसेस दी हुई हैं. ठीक है, लेकिन हर क्वेश्चन जो है 6 मार्क्स का है. ऐसे 4 क्वेश्चन आपको अटैम्प्ट करने हैं 170 to 180 वर्ड्स में. थैंक यू सो मच फॉर वॉचिंग एंड स्टे कनेक्टेड.